Studies show that we waste about half of all the time we have at work. So here are the 5 biggest time killers from my perspective and how to fix them. So the first one is multitasking. There, for the record, is no such thing as multitasking. There is only switch tasking between 2 different tasks. A simple way to overcome this is literally turn your phone off, close your browsers, turn your Wi-Fi off if you can, and just work on the one thing you're working on until it's done. You will have 10 times more productivity doing that. Number 2 is saying yes when you really want to say no. We're all people pleasers, but here's my invitation to you. They will get over it. If you can be brave for 30 seconds, you can often save yourself 60 minutes or even more. Number 3 is meetings. There should really only be 2 reasons you have a meeting, and that is to solve a problem or make a big decision. The vast majority of meetings are just updates that can be done in an email. Number 4 is perfectionism. Realize that perfectionism is just fear in disguise. Just get it down, get it 70% right, send it off, and you'll be fine. You'll make way more progress doing that. And 5th and finally, and most important, is working on the wrong things. Simple hack, make a list of the 5 most important things you want to get done this month, this week, this year. Keep that list in front of you and try to just align 50 to 75% of your time working on those 5 things, and you'll clear up so much of your nonsense that you're spending time on. There's a concept from investing that's called the sunk cost fallacy, and my guess is it's having an impact somewhere in your life right now. Basically, in investing, the sunk cost fallacy is when you continue pouring money into an investment, not because it's working, not because it's a good use of money, but mostly just because you've already spent so much. And I've done this so many times in my career in investing, and it's never worked out. The thing I realized though, is this isn't just true for investing. We do it all the time in our lives. We might do this in a city that we've lived in for a long time, or a relationship, or a job, or even a friendship that we've had. We just continue in it because we've been in it for a long period of time. You might say, I've been an accountant for 5 years. I've been in the city for 10 years. I've been in this relationship for so long. I can't start over now. I've invested so much. I gotta just keep going. But the truth about the sunk cost fallacy is, unfortunately, that effort is gone. That time is gone. And maybe even that version of you that was in that situation is gone. And none of this things in your past obligates you to stay in the future. There's a great quote by Alan Watts who says, "You are under no obligation to be the person that you were even 5 minutes ago." So I think the better question is, if I were starting today, knowing what I now know and being the version of myself that I am today, would I make this choice again? And be really honest with your answers to that question. If the answer is no, then you have the entire rest of your life in front of you, and there's some version of you, your future self, that is actually counting on you today to make that really hard decision and make that change. It took me about 50 years to discover this one concept that I've never actually heard anyone else talk about, but this is a concept that has a lot to do with your relationships, your mood, your self-talk, your anxiety, and ultimately your happiness. And it's this concept of amplitude. So the simple concept is that the amplitude of your highs in your life is going to be equal in magnitude to the amplitude of your lows. So a really simple example, think of the most intense relationship that you've ever had. You waited on every text, it was intense, it was electric, it was crazy, it made your heart flutter. Without even knowing anything about it, I can almost bet that that's also the relationship where you suffered the most pain and the most heartbreak. The highs were high, but the lows were also really low. So maybe the most extreme example of this would be rock stars. So the good news about being a rock star is you get to play in front of 30,000 screaming fans who are singing your lyrics. I mean, I can't even imagine how incredible that must be. But the lows are also equal in amplitude. Research says about 75% of rock stars suffer depression, and they have, get this, a 25-year shorter lifespan than the average person. Super high highs, super low lows. So the thing is that advertising and social media in general are gonna sell us the highs, and they're gonna have us think that that's really the goal of life, is to hit these really peak things and peak moments. We're gonna want the fast car, the amazing vacation, the crazy parties, and that we associate that with happiness because that's kind of what we're led to believe. But the science actually says exactly the opposite. First off, there's this concept called hedonic adaptation that says when you get the car, that's gonna be your new baseline level of happiness, and you'll quickly adopt and you actually won't experience any long-term happiness from that car. The research says that you're actually gonna be much happier in life with much more frequent but lower amplitude moments of joy, like a walk with a friend, than you will with the once every 3 years heli-skiing trip. So a very different concept than what we're sold on social media. I'm not telling you how to live your life, but I am inviting you to consider that maybe what we've been sold about wanting these high highs also come with some really low lows and can wreak havoc actually on our happiness ultimately. So while we can't engineer a life that has only high highs, we can engineer a life that has a lower amplitude. I'd love to hear your biggest time productivity hacks. Let me know what they are in the comments.